Welcome to the Scoop, World Order. Happy bye week Saturday. Michigan is terrible. Oh my God. Some decent college football games today to watch. A huge UFC card tonight. If you guys are into UFC and want to go watch it somewhere excellent, go to Buffalo Wild Wings or Twin Peaks. They're our two proud Buckeye Scoop partners, huge partners of ours. Again, go out, support the crowd, have a nice dinner, enjoy yourself. It's gonna be at the Sphere. It's gonna be awesome to watch. So really excited about that. As always, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe. Also click that little alert bell. If you're gonna do something awesome for us, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or both. That'd be absolutely excellent. And again, we appreciate all that you guys do. What a day of college football. I'm gonna get right into it with Nevada. Michigan's terrible. I mean, they are really, really bad. And Butch Jones, I think, kind of fumbled the bag a little bit and could have had a win up there today. But what are your thoughts on your beloved Wolverines?
Well, if you recall, and I know you guys recall everything, somebody here said they're taking Arkansas State plus the points, and oh, that's right, that was me. That was me that said that. Yeah, Michigan is they're dreadful. I mean, they're really, really bad. And Donovan Edwards, I remember cracking on him over the off season and laughing about him being on the cover of the video game. And I mean, he's so bad. That guy is absolutely, I mean, he has a future in the custodial or food service industry, but nothing involving football. I mean, he's terrible. He's not the best running back on their team. He's probably the fourth or fifth best running back playing college football in the state of Michigan right now. So he's so bad. Their quarterback plays dreadful. But Sharon Moore, you know, the greatest thing about this entire scandal was the fact that a guy that was completely unqualified to be the head coach at Michigan was elevated to the job. We don't know the exact details of his buyout or what it's going to cost Michigan to get rid of him. But if you've ever seen a guy that looks more uneasy in the position, more completely over his skis, was hired in a desperation move to try to, whenever you see these stability moves where they're like, hey, let's just hire the guy that's here and he'll just keep the train rolling, man. It'll just be, keep it on the tracks. It's not easy to do that. It's not easy to do that. It wasn't easy for Ryan Day. It's certainly for Sharon Moore right now. He's just completely lost. And you look at their 3 games this year, could have lost to Fresno State, got humiliated by Texas, and absolutely should have lost to Arkansas State today. I mean, Arkansas State had that game. Early in the game, Butch Jones takes the opening drive, and I don't know if you're watching, drives the ball down the field, has 4th and half a yard from the 19-yard line, and decides to kick a field goal as a 23-point underdog and doinks it off the upright. And, a couple of field goal misses, and you're literally talking about the game. I mean, Arkansas State could have won this game very easily. Instead, it was a 28-18 easy cover, and Michigan is an absolute disaster. And these are all games that are being played in the confines of home. So wait till they get on the road, and they have to go play anybody with a pulse. I mean, I think every game on the road for Michigan this year is absolutely live. I'm not sure if they'll be favored in more than 2 or 3 games coming down the rest of their schedule. So I think right now, I was saying before the year, I was like 7-5 is the floor, 9-3 is the ceiling. Now I think this is they're 7-5 all the way. And what a fall from grace. Loveland's hurt. 7-5. You've got a coach, Sharon Moore, who's a dead man walking with NCAA, who's over his skis, who's going to have to you're going to have to start all over. And Michigan fans, this is as good as it gets. This is the most talented team that you're going to have for the next decade. So what a dumpster fire. Couldn't happen to a better fan base or a better bunch of guys. But today was just kind of the entire 2024 season wrapped up in one just terrible game against Arkansas State. And Michigan's really, really bad.
I love it. Like again, this is something where we talked a lot about how Sharon Moore was starting from square one. Like, I mean, this was, I know that everyone, you take away like last year's, debacle of the season, which obviously could potentially be vacated. Like, you lose your strength coach because, the difference between Ryan Day and Sharon Moore, like Ryan Day walked into a fully operational battle system. Urban retired, resigned, whatever. And Mickey Marotti's still there. Mark Piantoni's still there. Ryan Day had been in the building for a couple years. He remains the play caller. He moves into this head coaching role. But Ryan had Mickey Marotti still there. He had most of the coaching staff except for the guys that he removed, like Shiano and a couple other guys, still there. And he had, not to mention he had a loaded roster. I mean, he went out and added Justin Fields to a team that was obviously very competitive. The 19 team was loaded. And then Sharon is the exact opposite because Jim Harbaugh hates Michigan and took every single coach that would possibly leave because, again, they know what they did. They know what's going to happen. Again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to maintain your strength coach. The strength coach is the guy that works with the team for 80% of the year. He's the pulse of the team. He's the developer of toughness for your team. So when Jim Harbaugh took Herbert, the strength coach to Los Angeles, that's when I knew the gloves are off. Because it's one thing to do. Urban is very cognizant of his image at all times, for the most part. He has a little slip up, but other than that, like when he's running a football program, he's very much, how things react to this, how the former players and fan base, whatever. So when he left Ohio State, or when he resigned, he wanted all those guys to keep their jobs and wanted Ryan to be there and take over. Sharon, I mean, when he took over, man, he's looking around. He's like, okay, I guess we'll go get Wink Martindale. And Wink Martindale, again, he'd fallen from grace. He'd gotten essentially fired from the New York Giants, had a terrible relationship with their head coach. Was kind of, he's been a vagabond. I mean, I don't think I never thought he was that great in the NFL. I mean, he's never been a head coach in the NFL. He's been a DC for a long time, been a position coach for a long time. But magically, he becomes like this, this amazing hire. And again, Michigan was handing out money because, this is like, it was like buying property in like Chernobyl or something, to go coach at Ann Arbor. They're handing Tony Alford $850,000 a year. They're handing Wink Martindale $3 million a year. And they've been terrible. I mean, like a disaster. This is a team that they should have blown out. And the quarterback, I mean, with their quarterback situation, this is as bad as like the 2008 team when Rich Rod came in and he had a bunch of slow, terrible guys. He had Nick Sheridan. I mean, it was awful watching them try to run their offense with that. And that's where they're at here. I mean, they benched the walk-on kid, the little cute story, the walk-on that won the job. But when a walk-on wins a job at a place like Michigan at quarterback, that means that the two guys that they recruited are terrible. You don't want to ever have to start a walk-on quarterback after a long camp when you've got a bunch of scholarship guys in there. But it just means that the scholarship guys stink. But yeah, they not real good, Nevada. We could break down some of their film. I mean, Donovan, I mean, it's funny because the other running back actually had a huge stat line compared to your boy Donovan Edwards. But, I mean, Arkansas State was moving the ball. I mean, Michigan, they got their runs in and, they're going to get theirs. I mean, they've got demonstrably better talent. They're really poorly coached. After watching some of this stuff, and Arkansas State, they did some stupid things. Like I'm gonna start off with their fumble, but their secondary is very, very ready to get taken advantage of. If you watch this tape, and this quarterback was ripping some throws, and he's not exactly known as some sort of a gunslinger, but I mean, these guys weren't scared, and again, you're watching this, and I know I always talk about 55 in the pass rush, but I mean, these guys are getting blocked. I mean, you got your full pocket right here, your full, and again, when this is Will Howard with Chip Kelly's offense, it's going to be, a different deal. So 3rd and 8, first third down of the game, they don't get off the field. Here, again, this is a team playing probably in the biggest stadium they've ever played in. They blow the exchange here, so obviously you're going to take a loss of 5 or 6. The kid gets on it, but I this kid was throwing it on him. Again, and this kid's he's an athlete like Will Howard is, but we'll have much better protection than this. We're not just going to turn a guy loose. But Nevada, these guys weren't scared, and Michigan just looked kind of shell shocked that these guys were punching with them like for most of the game. But again, these guys are very blockable up front. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember when we had that infamous podcast with Yoder where he was talking about how they've got 4 of the top 15 players in the country, and I was really of the opinion that their defense was not going to be. Their defense lacked any depth, and really was going to be struggling when they didn't have a ball control offense to really support them, and that their secondaries could absolutely be had. And everybody's been able to throw on Michigan. Fresno State threw on Michigan. Texas threw on Michigan. Arkansas State threw on Michigan. You can absolutely throw all day long on Michigan and Will Johnson and all that stuff. And again, this is when they're playing at home, man. Wait till they get on the road. I mean, it's going to be a clown show for them. And next week they get USC, and USC is a good football team. USC is good. USC is going to come in, and I have no reason to believe Miller Mosses are going to come in and just do a Quinn Ewers on them, because how is Michigan going to get better, especially if Loveland's hurt? Now, Loveland hurt his shoulder in the third quarter, went out and didn't return, and there's no really report on what it is. I mean, I don't know if that's serious, not serious, day-to-day, week-to-week, or season-ending. But if something bad, but if you're Loveland too, and you've got a little boo-boo, you've really got to start thinking about pulling the chute, because this season's going nowhere for Michigan. They know it. The players know it. The staff knows it. The administration knows it. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Michigan flush this season with the NCAA and offer this thing up as part of their penance, to at least get 1 year out of this multi-year postseason ban out of the way, because this year isn't going anywhere. And I wouldn't expect that, I think for a player like Loveland, who's got a future to start thinking about, wouldn't surprise me at all to see these guys start dropping and pulling. She's got the perfect excuse to pull the chute. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see it happen.
I mean, if you're the AD, isn't the thing to do is to take the bowl ban this year so you don't have to go play in the Tax Slayer Bowl? I mean, like, why would you not take it this year?
I think you have. I mean, I think it makes all the sense in the world. I think, it's the one thing that you could do with the NCAA to try to demonstrate to them that you're finally taking this stuff seriously after all your, flipping them off and Yoko Ono texting Bet and, the defiance and we'll sue you, we'll see you in court and all this other nonsense. Taking the postseason ban this year, it'd be the first step that Michigan did towards any type of contrition. I just think, I think it's too little too late, but frankly, I think it's the right play for them. I think it's the only move that they can make. They've got is bad cards. We've talked about the Kobayashi Maru a million times, but they've just got a million bad cards. There's really no way out of this. Say when you're in a hole, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Well, they've got to stop digging, and one of the ways to stop digging would be to implement a postseason ban this year, and so they can start looking forward to the future in 2035 or whatever that's going to roll around for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I want to give a quick happy birthday to Karis. Karis and Beth are on here every night. Appreciate you. Shout out to our boy Sean Schrock for letting me know about that. Nevada, I want you to break down this first interception because this is a beauty right here, man. So all of the Scoop family, you guys show up, because I usually can drop a little bit of knowledge on film. Again, I don't try to do anything because, again, there's nothing that annoys me more than when these guys say all kinds of crazy terms that nobody understands, including guys like me and Zach Smith that actually coached and really know football. They say all kinds of stupid terminology, and it drives me crazy. But one thing I've told you is that when I was coaching the tackles at Ohio State, the offensive line, I'd always tell these guys to look at the safeties. The safeties tell you exactly what's going to happen in the defense. Chris Carter said the exact same thing when he was on the show. But the safeties always have to give stuff away. So, a quick check here. If you're this tackle or you're this tackle, the safeties generally play on the hashes. This safety is off the hash. And when I played and when I coached, when the safety comes off the hash, that means he has to get over here. So he's cheating. So when he has to get over here, that means this guy is coming. That means it's a corner blitz. This is like this is day one of training camp stuff that I teach these tackles. Look at the safety. If he's off the hash, the corner's coming. So you look at this. Corner right off the edge. I mean, they're not hiding anything. This is a full corner edge. It's a corner. I think this is a stand-up guy. This is a will. So you got your 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you got your will linebacker and you got your corner. So they're bringing 3 off the edge. And then, so he's got to get over there and boogie and take Colson Loveland, who's out here. So, when you don't pick this up because, you're in Timbuktu, because again, like what you should do here, because they're running a play action. I would abort the fake and tell this guy to come to the edge immediately, but they don't because they're Michigan. They're not very smart. Again, this is bizarre because he turns the wrong way. This guy goes, something's off here because he's faking the handoff and the back comes over here. So again, I think the back screws up and he's supposed to be over here to check for that, which he doesn't do because again, he's a general studies guy at Michigan. So this corner's coming off the edge. So, your walk-on quarterback who stinks, he's got two guys about to kill him. And so what does he do? He does like the MJ fadeaway off his back foot up in the air to his tight end, and it's a pick. And this guy, for the love of God, is praying that he can get to the zone, and by a miracle, he gets pushed out by a toenail. But Nevada, I've seen bad quarterback plays in my life. That is as bad as I've ever seen. Because again, if in doubt, just eat the sack. Or make sure if you're gonna chuck it, make sure you're chucking it out of bounds, get enough smoke on it to get it out. But to just throw up that was like an underhand softball, slow pitch that he threw up there, and it gets picked and ran back. How bad is that?
Well, that little move where he fakes the ball to the wrong side and there's nobody there,
No.
Right? They did that 5 times in the first half.
Oh God!
5 times in the first half. So that wasn't like a mistake, or that wasn't like a guy went the wrong way. That's how they're drawing it up.
That's their scheme. Yeah.
That's their scheme. It happened multiple times, and I'm watching him going, that's the darndest thing I've ever seen. I mean, what is he doing? He's faking the ball to the invisible running back going on one side, and the other guy's going the other way, and so I don't know what Michigan's doing, but they're such a poorly coached team. I mean, they commit stupid penalties. They do dumb things. You can just tell this is not a high IQ team. And Sherrone Moore, that was really one of my questions about him when he took the job. So this isn't second guessing by Nevada. This is Nevada first guessing when this was first announced. I'm like, what has this guy done to qualify him to be the head coach at the University of Michigan? And the answer had been absolutely nothing. And now you see why. I said before the year, if Michigan is successful, then everything I know about college football is a lie. Your strength coach doesn't matter. Stability doesn't matter. Experience doesn't matter. Having a quarterback back doesn't matter. Having offensive lineman back, none of that stuff matters because Michigan has found this magical machine that they can just put guys into and it cranks out victories. And I didn't believe that for a second that would be the case, but that was what was on the line here in terms of Michigan sucking. So now when Michigan's sucking, everything is right with the world because everything I know about football has been proven to be correct. And you can't win this way, and you cannot win. Their system is not sustainable. They are set up to fail, and they're going to fail spectacularly because I said it before. I don't want to be the old guy to repeat himself, but this year is as good as it gets. This year is the high watermark. Next year, I'm telling you, I don't think they'll be bowl eligible next year. I mean, forget whether the NCAA, forget all that. I'm talking about they won't win 6 games next year. That's how bad I think they're going to be. I think they're going to Purdueville. Or they're going to, Illinoisville or Northwesternville. That's where they're headed. The idea that they're going to be competitive for a national championship or part of the national elite, absolutely, positively, no chance. I think this is the last year we'll see them ranked for a long time, and I don't think I don't believe there's a chance in heck that they're ranked in the top 25 by the end of the year. So that's how bad it is for Michigan. And like I said, it couldn't happen to a more deserving fan base, a more deserving staff, a more deserving group of players. And I'm going to be there this year in Columbus watching us rout them. And I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. And there's not one part of me that's going to feel bad. I'm going to be screaming for Ryan Day to onside kick when we're up 97-0 with 13 seconds. Sherrone Moore, they called timeout today with 8 seconds to go before a 2-point, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're a moron, Sherrone. You're a moron. You're going to get paid because Michigan needed somebody to take the bullet, but you were completely unqualified to do your job, and I'm so happy to see you fail. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I found another one because you're right. They kept doing it. So I'm going to toss another one on here, and
yeah.
I mean, but this again, and maybe I'm just too old school and I don't know understand pass protections and play action passing game, even though that was like my favorite thing to do. Like so they do it again here. So he fakes like it's a read option. So in a normal universe, you've got your running back coming here, and again, this is a slide protection. So when you do a full slide, he has the D gap, C gap, B gap, A gap, A gap, B gap. This guy comes right off the edge. He's out in a route. So everyone blocks the slide perfectly except the running back. And again, this is a Tony Alford special. This is why Tony Alford's the worst running backs coach in maybe college football history. I mean, this is poorly coached or it's poor scheme. It's something, because this does not make sense. You never send a back to the side of the slide. That literally, no one in football does that, because again, it breaks all the rules. This guy has to take the widest guy, second widest guy. That's why you go, if you have a tight end in, which they do here, it's D gap. So this is your D gap, the furthest outside. And if the tight end's out there, it's the C gap. So whatever. So he's got the D gap, C gap, B gap, A gap, A gap, B gap. So these guys all slide this way. They all slide this way. And he takes the widest, second widest, third widest, blah, blah, blah. You guys get it. This guy comes off the edge and gets him. He's got to cut him, whatever he's got to do. Instead, these guys all block, and you don't have a back coming to the front side. Like, this is insane. These guys get paid. Like, these guys get paid to put this in or coach it like this. And again, this is. I mean, is that 7? Is that Edwards? I mean, dude, like, I mean, how can you be a senior and miss this? This is crazy. Because again, these guys are all blocking the way I think it should be. He should be coming this way and cutting this edge. But instead, he turns the guy loose. I mean, and even the guys that aren't turned loose, like look at this. Like, what's Jack Sawyer going to do to this guy? Oh my God. I mean, look at this. I mean, Michigan's offensive line. Where's Yoder? I'm going to call Yoder right now. Look at this. That's Arkansas State putting your right tackle, like literally like schoolboy. I mean, look at him. He pancaked the right tackle onto the block M. I mean, that's terrible. That never happened to me in 6,000 snaps of my career. And this happened to their right tackle against Arkansas State. Oh my God. I mean, literally, I'm going to go leverage my house and I'm going to use my entire credit score and get as much money as I can to bet on that game at this point, because Jack Sawyer is going to murder that guy. Like, that guy's going to see Jack Sawyer the whole game. Jack's the best end in the country right now. Oh my God. Jack's got 8 quarterback hits right now, which again, you got to remember, a quarterback hit, it's real close to being a sack. So it's not quite a sack, but he's this close to being a sack. 'Cause you can't just go hit the quarterback when he doesn't have the ball for 5 seconds. It's a penalty. But he's this close to 8 sacks. So that's how good Jack is. And they're going to start coming too. So, wow, Nevada. I mean, I knew it was bad, but like when I'm rewatching the film, it's structurally bad. It's poorly coached. And they're just getting dominated at the point of attack. The vaunted Michigan line. And again, like, I always thought Sherrone Moore was when he became the O-line coach, in my opinion, I thought there's no way that this is going to be great, because he was a tight end, and he was like a running backs coach at Central Michigan, and then he was a tight ends coach at Michigan, and they make him the line coach. And I'm like, he has no experience coaching the O-line. And then all of a sudden he wins 2 back-to-back Joe Moore awards for O-lineman of the year or line of the year. And it turns out it's because they were cheating. That's the only reason they're any good. Like, they could, if you told me what defense I'm running, I could call the perfect run every time and I'd shred you. It wouldn't even be hard, but I don't even have words. I mean, that is so bad, Nevada. Arkansas State is doing this to these guys. What are your thoughts?
Well, I loved you finding that other play where the quarterback's turning and doing the phantom handoff thing. Like I said, I mean, they kept doing it, and so somehow, like, the super geniuses there, in the brain trust of Michigan came up with this. Hey, let's do the thing. It kind of reminded me of Ohio State back in like the 80s, when they would go play action every time. It'd be like play action, 4th down and 27, and they go do the fake and go back, and you're like, you're not really fooling anybody with your play action stuff right now. Now, maybe that was a timing thing or whatever it was, but doing this stuff where you're turning and faking the ball and then having a guy come right into your face and smack you down. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know where they go now. Orgy apparently is a train wreck. Obviously, the Warren thing didn't didn't work out. So now they're thinking that the savior is Tuttle, the 7th-year former quarterback for Chris Olave, the former Indiana quarterback. That's got the guy that's going to save their season. But they can't stop the pass. And if you can't stop the pass, and you're playing teams like Oregon and USC and Ohio State coming up, man, you are in deep, deep trouble. And yeah, I am enjoying so much of the season. I like it when the world makes sense, because I'm telling you, the last 3 years with Michigan did not make sense. And when we found out the cheating and the extent of the cheating, then you kind of had a thing where, yeah, now I understand. I understand what was going on. Now some of the unexplainable becomes the explainable. But this year was the real test. How do they do without cheating, with new coaching staff? This is who Michigan. This is 2-4 Michigan pre-Stallions cheating. This is who they should have been the last 3 years, but they cheated. That this is all the more reason why everything they did the last 3 years should be erased. And don't think that fact's not lost on the NCAA and the Big Ten, because the differences are so pronounced.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like they remind me. It was like watching Wisconsin. Like Wisconsin, in their history, Wisconsin is competitive when it's a tight game. They can run the ball. They're like Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan State. Like these teams that were built on defense and toughness. Like that's great until you get down 21 points, and then all of a sudden, when you can't throw it, I mean, you're basically cooked. Like you're basically like a deer in the middle of the semi truck headlights, and you're about to get smoked. And that's Michigan, because they can't throw, especially if Loveland's out. Oh my God! I mean, it's like their skill guys are just atrociously bad, and they didn't address it in the portal. So it's going to be interesting, because they can't really. I mean, I saw a bunch of their runs where Arkansas State just didn't tackle them. There are guys there, but they just bounced off of them. Which again, that's not going to happen against good teams like Ohio State or Iowa, teams that are just more fundamentally skilled and tougher than Arkansas State was. But yeah, I mean they're just bad. I mean, and like to put Tuttle in, I'm like, he's a 7th-year guy who you already passed up twice. Like you already went with the walk on, and then you went with Orgy, and it's just I don't know. Like I said, when these guys see a real front, because Arkansas State, I mean that's not a real front. Like when they got to see Tyleek and Ty Hamilton, and like Ty Hamilton is going to kill these guys. Oh my God. They tried to run this zone stuff, but I mean, watching these guys pass it's just abject comedy at this point. I'm going to highlight another interception here, because I mean, I think he's got, what do you have, 3 picks today? I'll break this one down, and we'll hit some super chats. But I mean, you watch this, and it's just like, oh my God, like look at this protection. I mean, everyone's getting beat. I mean, everyone's getting shoved backwards. Again, the running back puts his nose in it, but I mean, this isn't as clean as it should be versus a team like this. I mean, you got guys kind of crowding around him, and again, this is actually good by the back to step in there, but it's like, I mean, he's scared to death, and then he just airmails it. Like, look at this thing. He doesn't even get hit here. He just throws it into outer space, and these guys are running it back. And again, like if this is a real team, they're going to capitalize on this. But their skill guys, I mean, this guy you literally cannot get less separation as a wide receiver than that. Like Zach Smith would be having a heart attack right now if he was watching this. If I was watching this with him and he's saying, I say, Zach, how bad is this? He said, that's as bad as you could possibly be as a wide receiver. I mean, there isn't. It's like he's giving him a piggyback ride. Like there's no release, there's no separation, there's no hands, and no speed. And then he falls down. Just to put the icing on the cake, he falls down, and the guy chucks it to where he's supposed to be at, and it's a pick. So I mean, that is that's Michigan's skill level right now. It's like no separation, not an ounce of separation, and then he falls down. So Nevada, your thoughts? We'll start digging into some super chats.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been their story all year. Like I said, they can't throw the ball. They can't threaten you at all on the outside. Their best receiving threat is Loveland, who's injured now. And I mean, I just don't know where they go. And it's just so fun to watch them struggle. after they cheated. I mean, I watched a lot of games. I watched Wisconsin today against Alabama. I had a big bet on Alabama. Wisconsin's QB went down in the first series, so that kind of helped out that bet. So I can't flex too much on that one, but I don't. There's nobody else I root for as hard to lose, and I have as much failure as I do with Michigan. And it's everything about Michigan failing makes me happy. So watching them, they're just bad in all facets of the game. The only thing, their field goal kicker is good again. I want to give them credit. Michigan's got a good field goal kicker again. They always manage to do that. But the rest of their team is a train wreck, and I absolutely cannot wait for the game in Columbus. That's going to be sheer unadulterated joy.
I totally agree. I think it's going to be unbelievable. All right, let's take in some super chats to keep us on schedule. Huge UFC tonight. Again, if you guys want to watch it somewhere fun, go to Buffalo Wild Wings, go to Twin Peaks. Again, it's not an accident that the two best sports bars in Columbus also have the UFC fight. So shout out to those two. They are excellent at what they do, and it's going to be a good night. A huge UFC fight this year. OSU Lens. Ooh, I got to get that a little bit bigger. Apologize. I hope you are doing good, my friend. I know you're coming up for the Marshall game. If the NCAA doesn't recognize the title, how does Ward Manuel being the CFP chairman affect their decision to vacate or affect the timeline of settlement? Nevada, do you have a thought of that? Because again, I don't know if anyone's been paying attention. Like, why is Ward Manuel the chairman of the playoff committee after what his school pulled? But again, there's not a lot that makes sense regarding Ward Manuel at this point in life. It's almost like he's got photographs of power players across college football that he actually saw as a job and people at Michigan. But what are your thoughts on that? If the NCAA doesn't recognize the title, again, thank you, OSD Lens, thank you for the 5. How does Ward Manuel being the CFP chairman affect their decision to vacate or affect the timeline of settlement? What are your thoughts?
Well, he wouldn't have anything to do with that. I mean, that would be above that. That'd be by the board of that. He's just on the college football playoff committee. He's not the board for the college football playoff thing. And frankly, any discussion that involved Michigan, he'd have to recuse himself for having a conflict of interest anyway. So, it's not going to be a factor. It's a weird kind of irony that he's on that college football playoff committee. But I think everybody knows now. I mean, again, this isn't some Kirk Barton and Nevadabuck conspiracy that everybody knows that, everybody knows what's in the notice of allegations. Everybody knows what's coming. They're definitely in a tough spot, but he wouldn't really have any impact on that. Either formally or informally, he's really irrelevant in that whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Gene Smith, I remember when he was the chairman of the CFP, like of the playoff committee, when they would talk about Ohio State, he would literally he'd leave the room. Like, that's what happens when you're in that. If you're the athletic director for Alabama or whatever, like when they start talking about Alabama, you leave the room. Like, that's kind of what it does. So there's not like a slanted interest, obviously. Like, if you're the athletic director of your school and saying, hey, we should be a higher seed or we should get in or whatever, they just reclude you from the argument, I guess you could say. Appreciate you, Lens. Lens is a big part of the Scoop family, so thank you for being a part of the crew. Jason Anderson, thank you for the 10. Is O-line more technique, skill, or just bull strength? Go Bucks. It is a very technical position. But the thing that I always would tell these guys, I like the term bull strength. That's a great term, because I'd always tell them nothing in your life becomes harder, or easier, or harder when you get stronger. When you want to play offensive line at a high level, you have to be like immensely strong. Like, you have to squat a lot, you have to bench a lot, you have to hang clean a lot, you have to jump high, run fast. Again, when I really became, I was always a big weight room guy in high school, and I was a big weight room guy at Ohio State. But then, like, my last couple of years, I really took it to like a huge level and squatted 675, bench 500. Like, I took it to like a different level. Plus, I was also healthy. I didn't have a screwed up knee. It's hard to squat a lot when your knee hurts all the time. But I got my knees scoped, cleaned up, and then I really dedicated myself to squatting heavy, because it's real easy when your knee is a pile of trash like mine was to do all the other stuff. We've got the leg press, but nothing compares to a back squat when you're trying to build your core and your strength and your speed and your explosion. That's why Olympic sprinters squat a ton. So I started squatting a lot. So I tell these guys, I'm like, look, if you want to be able to anchor out a bull rush, make sure you can squat a lot, you can hang clean a lot, all that explosion. Like, some of it's natural, but when you put in the work in the gym, that's when you can bully guys. And so, when I got really strong was when I became all Big Ten, all American, because I was a bully. Plus, I was just older. Guys get better. I mean, obviously, I got better every year. I got better and better and better. I didn't regress year over year. But I think that it's a very technical, because a lot of the stuff that you do, like vertically setting and pass protection, is something that you don't do anywhere else in life. Since I've left the football field, I've never had to do any sort of vertical set ever again. It's not like running a route. You go out and run routes at the tailgate at the Ohio State game, but you're not going to be vertically setting and doing one-on-one pass rush outside the stadium at the tailgate. So again, it's a blend of both, but I think it's more technical. Obviously, you got to have the requisite size, arm length, whatever. But adding strength makes it a million times easier. When you talk about the best linemen that have ever played, they're all incredibly strong. There's not one guy that's a Minnie Mouse in the gym and all of a sudden he's a monster on the field. They're all big time weight room guys. Nevada, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think at our next Scoop outing, we should have can you beat Barton in the one-on-one pass rushing drill or something like that. We have something, we give $100 if anybody can get to the cone in under 2 seconds or something like that. And you just go out there, and that way you can bring back the old vertical set, so you don't have to have wasted all these years working on that. What do you?
I'll do that if you do a strawberry Oreo milkshake drinking competition. Who can beat Nevadabuck in that? Or who can hit the 100 play video poker faster? That would be the perfect one. So then we could all have all of our talents on display. So, Karis, what is up, my man? Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the 5. This should be a Scoop Ultra member as well. Karis says thank you from all the Scoop family. Nevada just rung off real quick, so let me get my boy back in here. Nevada, it's Karis Washington's birthday, so his lovely wife Beth.
Happy birthday.
He wrote, Karis says thank you from all of us, Scoop family, Nevada OH.
I
appreciate you, Karis. I hope you guys are doing great tonight. Yeah, so you got to do, if I do the pass rush thing, you got to do the Oreo strawberry milkshake drinking competitions. Then
dude, nobody will get me in that, dude. Are you kidding me? Well, I'm so dominant.
He's so dominant that he had to take a swig in the middle of his saying and mute himself. So that's how dominant he is. Harash Chinasami, appreciate you, my friend. Who do you think we go after in the portal on D-line? God, it's so early at this point to go after portal D-linemen. I mean, I think we're going to be in a good shape regardless next year. I mean, you look at our ends we got coming back. We're going to have Kenyatta, Caden Curry, Edric Houston. I mean, that's a good start, and I'm sure that we'll get some kids in the portal. I would kill to get Dylan Stewart. I think Dylan Stewart's fantastic, but I don't know. It's honestly, it's hard to go after any portal guys right now because you have no idea what's going to happen. Who's going to declare? Who's not going to declare? There was a point last year where Cam Ward was going to declare for the draft, and then he didn't declare for the draft, and he ends up with Miami. Nevada, Harish for a 2, he said. And I know you're not going to know this either, but who do you think we go after in the portal on D-line? I don't know how you go after anybody at this point. I mean, we're 3 weeks into the season. We have no idea who's going to be good or bad or whatever, who's going to go to the league. But I was saying, our D-line next year is going to be really good with Edric Houston and Kenyatta and Caden Curry, and you're going to have Caden McDonald. And I mean, we got a lot of really good young players. Hero Canoes coming along. I think we're going to be in really good shape. Jason Moore, got to get a little bit more out of him, pun intended. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, that's so tough. I mean, like you said, we'll probably be opportunistic, but that's probably one of the position groups that we're probably the most set on, that we're probably the deepest at. So if there was somebody that was a phenom that came available, then you'd probably take a look at something like that. But yeah, that's a deep group, man. We're going 3 and 4 deep at every position right there. And until it's so hard to speculate on that. It's not like other positions where it may be a little bit more straightforward where we have needs. We don't have a lot of needs on the defensive line, so we'd have to be super selective.
Is there a coach that's more fired than the guy at Florida? I can't believe Vernell Brown committed there. That is absolutely hilarious at this point.
I mean,
they're down
Florida State.
Florida. Well, I mean, they're down. You're right. Florida State. I think they just extended him though. Oh my God.
Yeah, but
What a
they got to buy him. They got to buy him out. I mean,
could you could you imagine being Tarvis Alford on your official visit right now and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go check out this cool Florida State game. They're gonna play this little old Memphis and Memphis beats them at home. So now, imagine being like a coaching staff and now like you lose your third straight. So all these coaches know they're gonna get fired. And then you got to go take this kid out to like a steak dinner and sit there and say, well, 0-3. We start off preseason top 10 and now we're 0-3 and the team's quit. But the kids can all ride away in their Lambos and their cars and go have a time. But I'll tell you what, man, I've lost 3 in a row. We did it in 04 and the campus was morbid. It was terrible. We were 3-3, man, at Ohio State, and we were getting beaten incessantly every day by the fan base. But yeah, Texas A&M's up 33-7 in the Swamp. So I can't imagine how much money they'd try to use to get Urban back there. But good God, is that bad for the Gators? Tony, what's up, brother? Tony Turley from Toledo, my man. Scoop Hall of Famer, Scoop legend, Scoop Ultra member. Thank you for the 50. Oh God, is that Nitschke? Nitschke once said that humor is just shot and fraud with a clear conscience. Do you guys agree that it's permissible to laugh in the face of the fans of the Cheaters of North? Nevada OH? Well, you got to understand, like, I hate Michigan. I think that their fans are douchebags. I think that the players are douchebags. I think the kids that come from Ohio State or they're from the state of Ohio that go to Michigan are the scum of the earth. They're the biggest douchebags in the world. They're idiots because invariably they always try to move back to Ohio with their Michigan degrees and nobody cares. They all come back here. They're all trying to figure out their way in life because, again, the state of Michigan is not going to take care of those guys. And they all get general studies degrees, which, you can learn how to read like the tread on the tire, like in the Forrest Gump line. That's what these guys get when they go up there. They're like, oh, well, I go to Michigan for my education. I'm like, well, yeah, but your degree is like I have an MBA in finance. Like that's a real education. Getting a general studies degree from Michigan so you can read the tread on a tire, that's not the same thing. So don't give me the education trash. But I love that they suck. I love that they're going to get hammered. I don't like Michigan. I hate Michigan. Like, I mean, I don't wish anything good on Michigan. I like beating Michigan. I think Ryan Day is going to try to score. Like, he literally might try to score 100 this year. I'm not even kidding. Like, because they're going to be, I mean, up there, it's going to be basketball season. By the time the Big Blue roll into Columbus, it's basketball season. They're going to be wanting to flush this thing down the toilet. Away they go, whatever. But I'm just telling you, like, I love shot and fraud. Shot and fraud, for those of you that know, is finding like happiness in your like enemy's pain or something like that. It's obviously a German word, but like when your enemy is sad or going through a tough time or being violated, like it makes you happy. Like that's what the term is. So I love that term. Like when my enemies are struggling and their lives suck, it makes me happy as a clam. It makes me like every day I just want to go a little bit harder. I want to work a little bit harder. That's like the Urban Meyer in me, where it's like I just want to just bury people. So I love it. And Nevada and I were trying to figure out. We weren't. I mean, honestly, we weren't even going to do a show today. We're like, we can take the day off. He's like, you want to do a show on how bad Michigan is? I'm like, yep, let's do it. That's what our show is going to be. What's the title? Is Michigan going to make it through the season? And guess what? Here we are. Nevada again, Tony. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the 50. Thank you for being an ultra member as well. Nitschke once said that humor is just shot and fraud with a clear conscience. Do you guys agree that it's permissible to laugh in the face of fans of the Cheaters of North? Nevada OH?
And yeah, it's absolutely appropriate. But, only because they cheated. I mean, but before this, when it was like a, heated rivalry, or they used to always talk about the rivalry about being, hard hitting, but the cleanest game on the schedule and mutual respect and blah. And somehow it's moved away from that. And now, man, this year, this is not about mutual respect. This is about, settling scores for a lot of kids that got robbed of, for CJ Stroud, they got robbed of 2 Heismans, that Ryan Day's been robbed of his legacy. A lot of these players never had gold pants, and there's going to be a lot of anger and a lot of frustration played out on that field in November. And I think I've got Michigan's strategy, though. I really do think I got Michigan's strategy, because you can't bail out for COVID anymore. So the 2020 strategy, whooping cough. Portland State.
I saw that. That was the first thing I thought of too. First thing I thought of.
Like, whooping cough. So expect to see like a flurry of whooping cough stuff going up there in Ann Arbor in like about the third, fourth week of November. That's my prediction. I'm calling it right now. Game called due to whooping cough.
It'll happen. You know it's going to happen. It's going to be great. Haresh Shanasri, thanks for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Graduated from Ohio State, but I currently live in Lansing because I go to Michigan State Medical School. Congratulations on that. Cannot wait till the Buckeyes squash the Spartans and the Cheers from North. See, I don't mind Michigan State. Like I was always fine with Mark D'Antonio, and Michigan State's a totally different animal from Michigan. And honestly, like when I lived in Michigan when I played for the Lions, like it's not a bad place to live. Like, I mean, but I hate Michigan. So, and we also were on a humongous winning streak. So it was a lot more fun to be an Ohio State person up there. But yeah, I think that, we're kind of carrying the flag for the rest of the conference because they all want to see us smash them. And I think other Big Ten teams are going to get to them. The schedule, I think SC is going to destroy them. I think Oregon's going to destroy them. So by the time they get to us, man, they're going to be beaten to a pulp. And then we'll just be like the scene at the end of Casino where they put Pesci and his brother in that cornfield hole. Like that's going to be us. We're just going to throw them in the hole and bury them alive at that point. So, and I'm going to be here for it. I'm going to love it because I hate Michigan, and I hate people that like Michigan, and I hate people that like Michigan fans. Nevada, your thoughts? And again, thank you, Rush, again for being on here. Graduated from Ohio State, but I currently live in Lansing because I go to MSU Medical School. And again, congratulations on that. That's an awesome achievement. Cannot wait till the Buckeyes squash the Spartans and the Cheaters up north. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's going to be interesting. Next week, Michigan, I think they're going to be like 9 or 10 point underdogs at home against USC, which is really interesting. Oh, yeah. And then they got to go on the road at Michigan State. I'm telling you, that is not going to be easy for them at all. And obviously the game in Columbus. So yeah, no, they can't lose enough. I respect Michigan State. Have absolutely no respect for Michigan. So yeah, let's get it on.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mello, what is up, brother? Congrats to the Buckeye boys and Mello and Devin. They have a huge episode going on right now. It's over 5,000 views, I think. So they're breaking out a little bit. So tune into the Buckeye Boys. Make sure you subscribe to the Ohio podcast. They're great friends of Buckeye Scoop. Mello, thanks for the 5. Thanks for being an ultra member as well. Do you have arthritis or lack of cartilage in your joints from football? What kind of toll has football had on your body? Well, it's actually interesting. I take a joint lubricant. I'm actually going to promo it right here. I've taken this for a long time. My knees feel great. My body feels great. I take this stuff called Animal Flex, which is kind of for bodybuilders, but it's a little pill packet of shark cartilage and that type of stuff. I mean, it's gross. I mean, it's like 7 or 8 pills, but I started taking it after I had knee surgery when I played at Ohio State, and my knee recovered really quickly. And I've recommended it to a lot of people that have had knee scopes or knee replacements or whatever. Again, I try to keep my body as good as it can be. I don't kill myself like I used to lifting and working out and benching heavy. Like I don't, my motto, and this will sound like a total softy, is I don't want to do anything where I could possibly injure myself. So I'm not going to bench 550 anymore and do some of that crazy stuff I used to do. But I do the Stairmaster religiously every day. Do free weights, a lot. It's kind of my regimen, but my body, it's in good, it feels good. Nothing hurts. My knees don't hurt. My elbows don't hurt, shoulders. So it really didn't do too bad. My memory was a little foggy after some concussions, but it feels good now. I can recall all kinds of crazy Ohio State stuff from the last 30 years. So I think that's fine. But I got out pretty much unscathed, I think. Like I said, I had 4 or 5 surgeries on my right knee and a broken foot, but everything works great now. So again, at the end of the day, it's I walk around, I'm not in pain. That's the one thing. I loved football to death. I don't miss feeling like crap all the time. Waking up on a Wednesday and I'm like, oh my God, I can't even get out of bed, because that's how these players feel. They feel like trash in the middle of the season. Because after the first day of training camp, your body never feels good again until the end of the season and you have some time to rest. So I don't miss that. But I miss the physicality, and I miss beating people to death legally on the field. That was fun. But the rest of it, I don't miss. Nevada, do you have any arthritis or lack of cartilage from football? I'll ask you.
No, I'm still in pretty good shape. I'm still in pretty good shape.
Your thumb from loading up on the Michigan bet, like from hitting the little button on Bet Online, does that got arthritis from today, or you got the thing all lubed
Yeah,
up?
I've got that repetitive stress injury from video poker on my right finger and stuff like that. But other than that, I think I'm okay.
Hitting max bet and praying
Max
for
bet.
the dream card. Come on, times
Oh,
10. We said that
come
the
on,
one
give me
time,
four aces.
we said that the one time, and the thing kept popping is like, give you a times 2. I was like, did they know it's you? And they don't give you anything above a times 2. It could go times 2 to times 10. And they're like, oh, here's your times 2, big timer. Couch, thank you for the 5. I'm in the Toledo area, dangerously close to the state up north. You can smell the stench from here. They do stink, stinky people. You're in Tony Turley land. That's where Tony's from. Tony's a great dude as well. Yeah, but I like Toledo. I mean, that's my boy Matt Campbell used to coach up there. He's at Iowa State now. But yeah, I feel for you a little bit, but you're still on the good side of the border, so that's good. I hope you're having a great night as well, Couch. Dave Mathis, thank you for the deuce. Scum should let Al coach the rest of the season. Nevada OH. Al, I think that you might be confusing. Oh, you're saying Tony Alford. I was thinking you were thinking Al Washington, who'd been up there before he came here. Let Tony Alford coach the rest of the season. I mean, he might, man. It ain't looking too hot up there right now. Nevada, what do you think? Do you think that the team would improve if Tony Alford was leading the charge?
Well, I mean, you're talking about. I mean, he might be a bigger moron than Moore, so that would be the only way that they could top this parade of fools that they have up there in the coaching. So yeah, that'd be a great Michigan hire. Don't think it's going to happen, but I would laugh out loud if it did. So that'd be great.
I just took my animal flex. That was live on air. That's great. Nevada, is Tony Alford, again, Buckeye at 1, thank you for the deuce. Is Tony Alford an OSU plant to make the University of Michigan stink? Well, I don't think that they need him to do it, but they certainly aren't any better with him being up there. But what are your thoughts?
No, we said this at the time when this happened. We said it, and people, some people are, oh, you're just coping because we lost. We got to Michigan, and he's there. And I'm like, no, he's stink. He's bad. I thought he was terrible at Ohio State. This is the same guy who played Master Teague over Trey Sermon, and then Master Teague over Trey Henderson. Worst running backs coach at Ohio State, certainly in Ohio State's history. Just indifferent recruiter. Just crazy rotations on the field. So yeah, I mean, he's doing a lot of damage to them, but that was their big offseason coup, and that's when you knew that they were just completely struggling. And I mean, not that I didn't know before they were going to be bad, but them getting offered and then celebrating like they'd won the Super Bowl, yeah, I knew that was going to be a big problem for them.
Well, I mean, I know that money drives him more than anything in the world. So he left behind Trey and Quinshawn. He brings in Quinshawn into the fold, and then he has Trey senior year, and he leaves. And I'm just like, I know he was working on a 1-year deal. He wasn't going to get renewed by Ryan, but it's like, if I was him, man, I'm going to coach these guys and maybe lead the nation in rushing. And then all of a sudden say, hey, I'm a free agent. Go. I mean, he could go get that same deal. Instead, he goes to Michigan, where they're terrible. They're atrocious. They're going to have a terrible year. And again, I guess it's just, you can just take your whoopings and take your money. And that's great. Because again, I would have a lot of problem leaving Trey Henderson. I mean, he's a kid that came back, 4th year captain, chance to win a national championship, chance. I mean, like, how on earth would Tony not have been able to get the same deal this upcoming year when look at the offense? I mean, because what's going to happen, like Carlos Loughlin, I mean, he's going to be here. He's going to be around Chip Kelly, Ryan Day. And what's going to happen to Carlos Loughlin? He's going to ascend and he's going to become a head coach. You know what happens when you go to take a bad job as a position coach like Tony Alford did? You're going to be working in the MAC in like 3 years. So again, that's life. Like, you got to make your decision. And I would go work for Chip Kelly for free just to learn from him, learn how he runs an organization. Like when I was a graduate assistant for Urban Meyer, I was like, I can't believe I get paid. I mean, I was only making like peanuts. I was making $17,000 a year, whatever it was. So it's like, that's what GA's made at Ohio State, the lowest paid GAs in the Big Ten. Again, I don't care because I'm learning from Urban Meyer. And guess what? I've turned that into the #1 Ohio State podcast that's ever existed, because of the knowledge I've gained from Urban and trust and the relationships I have with those guys, the insight. their networks. Like, it's been incredible. So again, it's all about picking your moves, and it's not about chasing dollars. Because again, if you chase fast money like Tony did, you're going to end up getting fired anyways here. And I'm sure they'll cut you a check, and that's great. But if you don't have any confidence in your ability, I guess you got to go take that move. You got to go jump on the Titanic. Say, hey, well, I couldn't get a ticket on any other boat, so I might as well jump on this thing and head to the bottom of the ocean and go sleep with the blue whales and whatever's at the bottom down there. So, but yeah, it's bad. All right, Nevada. We've got a UFC fight. It is about 7:30. I told you I'd keep it at an hour. Let's wrap this thing up. Any final thoughts?
Well, two things. One, the great Justin Spiro has a thing, Darko State News, a great funny little 4-minute video on the duck that waddled away, talking about Jim Harbaugh hiding from Ryan Day when he's going to hang 100 on him. Must go watch that. If you don't subscribe to his Twitter feed, completely missing out. Great guy. Do support him. Go check that out. Secondly, Dagestan Poppy. I don't know if he's posted his thing, but he generally has some picks up for the UFC card. If you like UFC action, got a couple of, we've got 3 props tonight, a couple of ghost decisions, and a bet on the Great Marab against Sugar Sean. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So enjoy the UFC card, and we'll enjoy laughing at Michigan tomorrow night.
Marab's a favorite now. So he must have laid the hammer down on that, because he was plus money yesterday. Now he's minus. I looked out. He's like minus 120. I was getting ready to bet it. And I was like, man, it shifted. I missed that. That old plus money looks pretty. So, but yeah, Marab the Machine, he's a monster. Real quick, I'm going to say this because shout out Devin. He texted me. Dave Mathis, people are saying that that's AI instead of Al. Scum should let AI coach the rest of the season, but I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know how to answer that. Here we go. So he just actually sent us another super chat. So thanks for the deuce. He said, "Let artificial intelligence coach the season." I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it was funny because it looks like Al. Again, I'm just a podcaster, but I don't know how that would work. I don't know how. Like, what do you do? Like, put a little robot out there and he says, throw it to Colson Loveland, run it up the middle, like throw an interception. Like, I don't know how you do that, but it's interesting. I'm sure that AI is going to become more prevalent in football as we go, but yeah, I don't know how that would work. Devette, do you have any idea, just for the sake of trying to answer that correctly?
Yeah. Well, I think they have the program. They're using it right now, but the AI program's like, turn to the left while the running back goes to the right and fake the handoff to them. It will fool everyone, and so yeah, they need to reprogram their AI bot.
Yeah, it's like on South Park when Cartman turned into Osimo the robot, and he was walking around, "I am Osimo, turn to the left." We'll fool everybody. Well, we won't run a play action pass like everybody else. We'll actually turn the other way, and then we won't block the edge. We won't block the edge guy on a turn protection. A full slide. We're gonna run the running back over to the right side of the protection. Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. And there are actually football coaches that actually, again, I'd love to know, because Donovan Edwards or whatever, he didn't get the call, didn't hear the call, but they did that multiple times in the game where they went the wrong way. So again, that's poor coaching. When you have your 4th year senior dude not getting it, that's just bad. All right, Nevada, final thoughts and get out of here.
Yeah, enjoy the show. UFC card tonight, and we'll have the run-up for Marshall game starting tomorrow night. We'll see you then.
Cannot wait to see you guys. I hope you guys have a great Saturday night. Again, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. If you guys are going to go out, go watch the fight at B-Dubs or Twin Peaks. Enjoy yourself. Town Hall also has it downtown, so go check out any of those spots. They're going to have the UFC fight on live, and it's going to be excellent. So I hope that you guys are having a great night. Again, I appreciate all you guys that tune in each and every night. A little early tonight, but we got a bunch of stuff we want to watch, a bunch of bets. So it's a really good day to be an Ohio State fan. And I'm telling you, I know you guys can't wait for that Michigan game, because it is going to be incredible watching that beat down in person. So again, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. Thank you, Scoop family. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your Saturday. Spend some time with your family, and I hope you guys have a great night. Go Bucks.